A very scary incident on Wednesday in Oakland, but now it appears A's pitcher Brandon McCarthy is recovering from the Sporting News studios. I'm Tom Vandervoort with Chris Barr, baseball editor. Chris, first of all, what happened to Brandon McCarthy on Wednesday?
Well, this is one of those things, you don't really want to ever watch it twice, but and then they show it in slow motion, it makes it worse. But he, straight baseball game, delivered a pitch, and it came, unfortunately, right back at him at probably more than 100 miles an hour, hit him, right about here, side of the head, and knocked him down. Never lost consciousness, walked out the field under his own power, and it seemed like everything was going to be okay, but then we found out, soon after that he had surgery for a skull fracture, for a brain contusion. So it got pretty serious there, but it looks like he's going to be all right.
And the third part of that was an epidural hemorrhage, which is bleeding between the dura mater that covers the brain and the skull. So that puts a lot of pressure on the brain and could be extremely dangerous. I guess they were able to relieve that in surgery. Do we have any idea about what the prognosis is here?
Well, it sounds like he's going to be okay. Of course, the question, once we get past the, is he all right? Is his life in danger? The question is, when will he pitch again? And that we don't know that, and it wouldn't be shocking if, he doesn't pitch again this season. Obviously, that's a pretty serious injury, and you're going to need some time to kind of, just mentally recover from that on top of the physical injury. So. You don't like to focus on how it's just going to affect the A's, but eventually you've got to come to that point. And, they've already lost Bartolo Colon to a suspension, and now McCarthy was kind of their veteran, right?
And having a good year.
Very good year. He's been hurt off and on. He's had arm problems, but, he was kind of their veteran go-to guy on a very, very young rotation, and now they've lost him, at least, on the field-wise. He can still be there for, mentoring purposes, but it makes their job a lot harder. They've got a lot of guys who are 23, 24, 25 years old now who are going to be leaned upon.
That veteran presence is really important. Last question for you before I let you go. A few years ago we saw the coaches start put on a helmet out there. Obviously the pitcher is really the one guy that's close enough to that batted ball to be in some kind of danger. Is there any talk or any thought, has there ever been, about giving the pitcher some protection?
I don't think so, and I think maybe that's something they'll think about. But it's thankfully very rare that something like this happens. Right. And but you're right though, they are put at a complete.
I mean, the batter, they're just as close to the batter as the batter is to them. Now, obviously, they're not going to be put in a position as frequently as the batter is, but when the ball comes off the bat,
there's nowhere to hide, and it's like that. It's
and you can't get out. He can't get out of the way.
No, I mean, he was lucky, I guess, that he turned his head this far.
Right.
Otherwise, it's his face. I mean, I don't know if that's any better or any worse, but it's scary. And he's 6'7" too, so I mean, he's a tall guy. He's that much closer to the plate by the time he releases the ball and he's on the mound. So it's unfortunate, but maybe there's something they'll consider, but not yet anyway.
All right, there you go. Our best to Brandon McCarthy, of course, from the Sporting News studios. For Chris Barr, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Thanks for watching.